Hello everybody, Megan here, and I am going to do a quick tutorial on how to create layered images off of coloring pages that you find on Google. This is just a very basic tutorial. I am not a professional by any means. This is just something way that I found how to do stuff by playing with it, watching other videos, or just messing around. So I just kind of wanted to share it and give people another perspective. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to work off of this one, and this is going to be your ending product, okay, that you're going to print. So I'm going to go ahead and delete this. Now we're going to go ahead and start. Now the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to find an image that I want, and now I went ahead and I am going to Googled Pokemon coloring pages. Now here's the deal: if you want to trace an image that you find on Google, if you want to get all fancy and stuff, it gets hard, especially when you try to pick something that has like super colors, that doesn't have these black high contrasting images. So what I would recommend doing is starting with something like coloring pages, something that has a black outline. That's going to make it easier for your computer to recognize the edges. So I went ahead and grabbed this and just go ahead and save image as, and save it to your computer. Now you're going to open up your design space right here. Okay, and it's just another one I had. You're going to merge and find your file that you downloaded, and here's your little Pokemon guy here. Okay, there we go. So now I want to make this into an image that I can layer and add color to. So I'm going to come over here and see this little tracing guy here, click on it and click trace, select trace area, and I'm going to select what I want. Now it already did a pretty good job, but I want to fill this in because if I don't, this will cut right here, and I don't want to. So I'm going to change this high pass filter, and I'm going to pull it just enough to where it covers everything I want. Then I'm going to come down to scale, and I'm just going to move it just slightly. When I do that, it cleans up the lines a little bit to make it less jagged. And then from there, I'm going to click trace. Voila! Now, because I don't need this image, I'm going to move it over and out of my way. Now there you go. So now, right now, it's just one outlined picture, right? So now we want to make these into individual layers that we can put together and put on a shirt, or a car decal or something. So from here, I'm going to grab the image, and you could either right click it or you can come up here. So I'm going to come here to your modify, and I'm going to click make and then release. So now when you release, it releases your compound path. So now look at all these little, instead of being one image, every little piece is its own little entity, and you can tell by all these little gray squares. Okay, so now I'm going to unclick. So now what I want to do is I want to separate these into different colors that I might be able to print separately on different color vinyl. So what I'm going to go ahead and do first is I'm going to grab the parts that are going to be black. Now the black is this very far outlined pieces. Okay, I'm going to grab that first, and then also this doesn't need to be here. This is just a background. See this little guy right here? So I want that to cut through. So I'm going to grab that one. While I'm holding down the shift button, I'm going to grab the very outside. Okay, now I have that one and that. Now I want that to cut a hole through my black vinyl. So I'm going to right click, and I'm going to click on make compound path. So now it's basically attached it to the black outline. You won't see what it did until I make it a color. So I'm going to turn that black. Whoop, I must have grabbed that wrong one. Hold on. It's actually better if you color it first. Okay, so be careful. What happened was when I clicked it, I accidentally clicked this other part too. That does happen. So don't worry if you make a mistake. Just click over, 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 over. Okay, so I'm going to, let's try it again. Shift. No, it's not the right one. Shift. That one. Let's try that. Let's see if that works. Make compound path. No. Where is it? Oh, it already did make a compound path. There we go. Okay. So now we can kind of move it around. You see that? And then you can go ahead and turn that black. Okay, I can move that out of the way. Oh, okay. So it did make it, but it pushed these to the back behind it. So that's why I couldn't see. It's still there though. See that? If I wanted to, I could just right click and send to the back. There you go. See? Play around. See? I don't know everything, but you figure it out as you go. All right, so if that happens again, if you know for a fact to grab the right ones, just move it over and see if you can find it. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it right there only so I could see the colors that I'm picking. Well, not necessarily. Okay, I'm gonna move it out of the way. Otherwise, I'll accidentally click it again, and I don't wanna do that. So now I'm gonna go ahead and click the parts that are gonna be yellow. Now this body's yellow. Now I also want the yellow to cut right here, so that way I'm not making another black circle. I want the yellow to cut out so that this will show through. So I need to grab, while holding down the shift button, I'm going to grab this big circle. I'm going to grab this one. I want to grab this big one. And I'm going to grab the tail. Those pieces, everything right there are yellow. Okay, so now I'm going to right click, make compound path. Okay. Now I'm going to color it. And oops, I should have done that one as well. Shift, grab a little nose, make compound path. There you go. Okay. So now it's going to cut all those. See that? Voila. Move it over. Ew, looks kind of creepy, right? Okay. So now I want, oh, you know what I missed? I missed the lips. You see that? Oh wait, so I can just kind of go backwards a little bit. Okay, so, oh, let's go back. Let's go back, let's go back. Okay, so let's grab it again. I grabbed the wrong ones. Grab shift. Oh, it's still a compound path. There you go. Now shift, let me grab the big mouth. And the nose. Right click, make compound path. Make yellow. There you go. It's better. All right. See, I made a mistake. You just go backwards, start fresh from the last point, and start again. This little guy right here, I don't really want this little extra little doodad to cut. I'm just going to delete it. And you could do that because you know what? It's your picture. You do what you want. So these ones are going to be all red. I'm going to grab them. Shift, shift, shift. Those are red. Okay, and you can group them. Ah, you see what I did there? I grabbed the wrong circle. So the big circle turned red and not yellow. Let's go back. I'll figure this out sooner or later. Okay, so I'm going to shift it and I'm going to re-hit it again. See, it went away. Now I'm going to try to get the big circle. Okay, there we go. It's a bigger. You see that? Okay. Let's try it again. Make compound path. Turn yellow. Move it over. There we go. That looks better. All right. I'm going to delete this little guy. All right. So I'm going to grab it. Shift, shift, shift. Turn red. Move it over. There we go. My goodness. Paint in the tush. Okay. These ones are white. Shift. There you go. Look at that. Now I'm going to grab the whole thing. It's going to end up taking my little unicorn with me. I'm going to grab the whole thing and I'm going to move it over. There you go. And now from here, you don't want to ever change the size of the layers individually because it'll never be the same size and it won't layer properly. So make sure you have everything grabbed and then kind of adjust the size as you want depending on what you want to do. Okay, so let's say I want it about that size. Now I want to cut on one mat, so I might cut down here and then put like a piece of black here, a piece of yellow here. It gets kind of hard. I get scared sometimes because I'm afraid it's going to cut off, or I don't know, that I'm going to mess it up somehow, but you can do that. I like to do things, you could put registration marks, those what people talk about are those like little boxes or lines that make sure that you're layering it properly, precisely. This is not a detailed picture. I like to go by visualizing it. So, and the registration marks kind of scare me still, so I'm still working on that part. So sorry, I'm not quite there yet. So I like to just do it by hand. So I'm gonna ungrab it, and then I'm gonna grab the yellow. I'm gonna move the yellow over. Okay, grab the red, and because see, they're easy to place by hand. I could have grouped them and left them exactly where they were, but I don't want to waste red, so I'm gonna put them really close together so that way I don't waste anything. And then I could place those where they need to be by myself. That's not a hard image. And then same with the white. Okay. And then you can put a little piece of white here and then cut it out like that. If you're too scared to do that, like you're afraid you're not going to place them properly, you can easily just like take them off the screen. You could have easily just grouped it too to move it all together. And then cut that first. When the black was done, moved it, cut the yellow, and then cut the red, and then cut your white. It just really depends. This is just a basic one, so I don't want to go into the whole registration and using all those fancy stuff. This is just for your very basic layering techniques. So I hope that was helpful. All I can say is practice. You saw me make mistakes, and just go backwards, start fresh, and keep at it until you get it right. And just remember, you know, you want to save vinyl. You don't want to make too many layers on top of each other. So when you can, make a compound path. That way you are not, that way like you didn't have to add this black vinyl. It cut through the yellow by just selecting it and compound pathing. There you go. And I'm putting this back in here just for visual purposes. That's what it's gonna look like, right? If it's not perfect, whatever. Okay. So I hope that worked, and I recommend Googling coloring pages. Find something simple like a Hello Kitty or something, a little unicorn or whatever, and see what you can come up with. And then if you got it down, then go to something a little bit more detailed and see how far you can get in the whole process, or how well you're able to manage the layers, and get better and better and better at it, until then you can start learning about the registration marks. And I'll make another video about that once I can perfect that myself. Okay, so I hope that was helpful, and I hope you guys can start creating some pretty fun stuff. Talk to you later.